Welcome to the Rotary Club of Greenville for our first meeting of the current Rotary fiscal year under new leadership here with Roger handling business as the president of our esteemed club. For member news this coming up year, we're going to be doing things a little bit different. We're going to be introducing Happy Bucks to the Rotary Club of Greenville. So, woo, yeah, I hear some excitement for Happy Bucks. Who doesn't want to get happy about some bucks? We're happy when you give your bucks directly back to the Rotary Club of Greenville so we can invest in Alzheimer's research. And that's what this is all about. So moving forward and starting here today, if you have any member news that you would like to share, all you need to do is raise your hand. I will come by. We will hope that you will put a couple bucks here in our Alzheimer's research buckets, and you'll have a chance to announce your news to the club. I see a couple hands up first, so we'll start right over here.
I am happy because my son-in-law got accepted to the Greenville Medical University.
Woohoo! She just dropped $1,000 bill in there for that one. Thank you, Susie. Wow, holy smokes. Other happy bucks, other happy news. We have more over here, I see. Yes, Betty.
Here's $5. I just came back from a 6-week solo road trip all the way up to Prince Edward Island and Cape Breton Island without my husband. And everybody would say, "Where's your husband?" I'm like, he would not like this because every time I see something, I turn around and got to take a picture or something like that. So had a great trip. 6,000 miles on my car.
Ooh, did you see the biggest ball of yarn or anything like that on your the Bay of Fundy? All right, very good. Thank you, Betty, for your support. Happy Bucks coming up. Who has some happy bucks? Here we go. Lisa, our immediate past president in the building. Whoa, dropping big dollars in here, Lisa. What you got?
And that is to congratulate Roger for taking over the role of presidency this year.
Woo! I think Lisa would drop that $20 bill in there any day of the week here for that, pass those reins along. What about other happy bucks? Good news to share here with our fellow Rotarians. I'm sure there's lots to be excited about. Okay, here we go. President Roger.
I'm happy because after what feels like forever talking about being club president, I am finally club president.
He's got the tattoo already, I heard, too. Anybody else? Happy bucks, some member news. What's making you happy? What do you want to celebrate? Oh, yes, Scott.
So I am happy. Can you hear me? I am happy that we have the principal from Alexander Elementary School here with us today. We met with her yesterday. I can't wait to introduce her to club and for our club to work with her. The students and teachers are they're going to be so happy to have her there with them. So
thank you, Scott, and welcome. Happy to have you all here. George, let's see your hand shoot up over there. We take checks too, by the way. So if you just need to scratch a check, just let us know.
I will be 80 years old next week, and it sure beats the alternative.
Holy smokes. Early happy birthday. One of the patriarchs of this Rotary Club coming in at 80 years old there, Mr. George Fletcher. Any other happy bucks news to share? Scott?
I am excited to say that my son, who has been in El Paso, Texas at Fort Bliss, is visiting us for a couple of weeks.
Good family time. Hope y'all are enjoying that. You bringing out more? Oh, no, wait, there's more.
Congratulations to Senator Jason Elliott.
All right. I got to talk to you about that get out of jail free card soon, Jason. We'll talk about that later. Thank you, sir. Thank you for your service to the community. Any other happy bucks here today?
Okay, so I'm happy to be supporting Alzheimer's research this weekend. I will be riding from Simpsonville to Charleston. It's 252 miles over 3 days. So if y'all will keep me in your thoughts as I sweat my tush off, I would appreciate it. And I will let you know next meeting if I made it.
Well, best of luck to you. When Christine says she's riding, she is pedaling those 252 miles, not riding in the car. So very, very, I like to make sure, got to give credit where credit's due for sure. Yes. Any other happy bucks? Holy smokes, this thing is getting heavy over here. This is a good win here, Roger. Great idea on the happy bucks. Here we go. Any other final news to announce? Betty, you got one more? Great idea. Betty has suggested that we do a quick happy birthday early for Mr. Fletcher over here. So on the count of three, let's go with it. 1, 2, 3. Woo! Happy birthday to you. Woo! Happy birthday, dear George. Happy birthday to you. All right. In 43 years, when it's my 80th birthday, I do hope you all will do the same for me. Any other happy bucks here before we wrap it up? Well, again, thank you all for sharing good news. It feels so good to share good news in this wild and crazy world we live in. There's so much more good happening than there is negative. So thank you for sharing the good news with us today. Don't forget, bring a couple singles with you, bring a couple 20s with you, a couple C notes, whatever you want to bring to the next upcoming Rotary meetings so you can drop your happy bucks in here and share the good news with our club. Thank you all so much.
Thank you, Ryan. That was great. Put it back. So welcome everybody again. Big round of applause for Ryan. He was absolutely the perfect person to do this, and I think it was a great add to our meeting. So thank you, Ryan. Some announcements before we get started here. Jenny will be out of the office all next week, and invoices are out. Thanks to those who have paid. Okay, this note's from Jenny. To the rest of you, all caps, please pay your invoices. Next week on July 18th, there's coffee and conversation on Thursday at 9 a.m. It's at Overlands and it's hosted by Rob. Our next luncheon 2 weeks from today features Bill Cooper, a friend of George's, the birthday boys, and he's the executive director of the Greenville Zoo. And so we're looking forward to that. Our companion club is off to a great start. I think we're up to 26 members now, which is absolutely fantastic. If you all know anybody that you think would benefit from that, or we would benefit from having them, please have them come out. Our next meeting is on July the 25th. It's always the fourth Thursday at Local Q, which is near the mall. Right after that, on Saturday, July 27th, we have a project. The Companion Club is hosting it, but we need all the help we can get. We need 20 people, and so far we've got just a handful to work with Rebuild Upstate, where they build handicap ramps for needy people who need them on their homes for access. So please join us. And then looking at way ahead, on August 24th is the District Membership Summit. It's at Newberry College. It's a Saturday. It's a good part of a day, but it's a great thing for those of you that are involved with our membership committee with Rusty and Andrea. That's it for the announcements. And I said we're going to switch things up a little bit. So we talked as a board a lot about the invocation pledge and what we decided to do. And I thank Brian Little. He helped me find this resource here. It's a book. It's non-denominational invocations for Rotary Club meetings. It's available online. You can look at it, but we'll select one of those for each meeting, and I'll read it, or the president, whoever that may be, will read it. Creator of the universe, one of your wise ministers said recently that you can judge a person by his checkbook. As Rotarians, we are generally blessed with lives of relative luxury and opportunities unknown to many. Help us to review our checkbooks and indeed the registers of our lives with honesty as we consider our priorities and our opportunities to help others. Open our hearts and our bank accounts to those in need while still providing us with appropriate fruits of our labors. Help us to share not only our tangible wealth, but also our intangible riches of knowledge, leadership, and creativity to make our city, our nation, and our world a better place, filled with peace and love that you bring us through it, that you can bring us through it. Amen. Would you please rise for the pledge? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Iris. I am a new member, and I have the honor of introducing our guest today. If you could, when I speak your name, please stand, and until all guests have been standing, please hold your applause to the very end. First is going to be Kim Johnson. She is a guest of Miss Lucy Henry, Don Hooker, and Bill Fox. Guest of the club, Mario Romero and Petra Romero. They're guests of Susie Tumblin and Ross Hammond, guest of Walter Kivett. Welcome. And we also have a visiting Rotarian today, Chris Rigby from Columbia, Missouri. There, somewhere. Oh, hello. Welcome, guests.
No extra charge for your double dose of Rhine Thack rated A. Please bear with me. Jane and Marty asked me if I would say a few words about Kringle Holiday Village, and then they did not show up to today's Rotary meeting, so I'm not sure if it's fair to all concerned, but here I am. You already have heard it many, many times for Kringle Holiday Village. I'm not going to spend too much time on saying get involved, although I will say if every single one of you commits to volunteering today, we don't have to stand up here and ask you to get involved anymore, so think about that. The only thing I don't want to spend too much time on, but definitely needs to focus on, are sponsorships. We need sponsorships for Kringle Holiday Village. And really all we need you to do, we don't even need you to solicit your friends and your family for sponsorships. You can just let Jane know. Help turn a cold call into a warm call for us here at the Rotary Club and our Kringle Village Committee. If you have any sponsors of interest, please reach out to Jane or reach out to them yourselves. And here's the big thing. This year, as you all know, we are switching up a little bit with Kringle Holiday Village and moving from Floor Field to the convention center to partner with the annual holiday fair. What this means, though, is that we're also going to be collaborating with the Hughes Agency, one of our premier marketing and PR firms here in the upstate. In addition to partnering up with the Greenville Convention Center and the holiday fair, expecting between 300 and 400 vendors, between 15 and 20,000 people. Almost as many people are coming to George Fletcher's 80th birthday party next week. But between 15 and 20,000 people, you're talking about 300 to 400 vendors, talking about Hughes Agency doing the marketing for this. So it truly is, this isn't just a sponsorship to check the box for your local Rotary Club. This is a, well, it certainly is that, but it's also an opportunity to really get your name out there, your company's name out there. So please give some thought there to sponsoring or sending some sponsor leads to Jane Dyer and the Kringle Committee. Also coming up on July the 30th at 2 p.m., we're having a big press conference out at the downtown airport to announce all this. You all won't be surprised that Jane Dyer has an airplane that she has commandeered, and Santa Claus is flying in on an airplane to attend this press conference. That is not a joke. That is the real story. Mayor White will be there to announce the Kringle Village in this holiday party. So please consider coming on 2 p.m. on July the 30th at the downtown airport. Just outside the downtown airport, as you all know, there's White Duck Taco, there's Cohesive Coffee. So what I like to throw out there is maybe consider going with some of those Rotarians that you've talked about having lunch or coffee with, haven't been able to make it happen yet. Make it happen on July 30th. Go to White Duck Taco, grab a taco, maybe a margarita if you want to. No one's asking questions. And come afterwards at 2 o'clock. Come afterwards at 2 o'clock to join us for this press conference at the airport. Kringle Village is going to be awesome this year. We're going to have a Little Miss Kringle pageant. We are going to have a tea. We're bringing a carousel inside the Greenville Convention Center. How cool is that? So there's going to be loads of great things happening this year at the Kringle Holiday Village. Of course, don't worry, we'll still have the glue line and all the other good things we all love about Kringle Holiday Village. The VIP party with Randomonium, one of the best local bands in town, will be performing at that. The other neat thing that's happened with Kringle Holiday Village this year that we hope to do to earn some more revenue is we're going to have this great setup, right, for 3 days down here at the Kringle Holiday Village. But what about an opportunity for some medium to small-sized businesses that want to just host their holiday party? Some a VIP package. We're going to have a great little package there for companies to come in and just tag along with us for the Kringle Holiday Village and host their holiday party, enjoy the music, enjoy the fun, enjoy the glue vine. So lots of great things happen at Kringle Holiday Village. This is really taking it to the next level. This fundraiser is going to grow and grow for our club, which ultimately means more funds coming back that we can reinvest back into community projects here locally and abroad at Rotary. This is what it's all about. So please consider how you can step up, help out with Kringle Holiday Village. Again, volunteer, sponsorships, July 30th, 2 p.m. We're going to be out there. I'll be serving as the MC for the press conference. Consider pre-gaming at White Duck beforehand or grabbing a cup of coffee if you'd like, and come join us for 2 p.m. for the press release. Thank you all so much.
The new principal at Alexandria Elementary School, Dr. Dawn Hooker. So we had a meeting with Dr. Hooker a couple months ago, but yesterday the Alexandria leadership team and Roger, because now that Roger's president, he's on every committee at Rotary, met with Dr. Hooker, and as I left there, I was just so excited. I was so excited for the students. And so excited for the staff, because Dr. Hooker really, she understands the population. She's come from Title I school and has had phenomenal results there. And she also understands the teacher's job and how hard that is. And you could tell that she's going to be really supportive of them. And so they're all excited to have her. One of the things I learned is that Dr. Hooker was a Rotary scholar not from our club, but from a sister club in this area. So she understands Rotary, which is a great help. We're going to be able to continue all the activities that we've done in the past. We'll do monthly teacher meals and treats. You have opportunity to come and sit with the students during those meals while the teachers have a private dining area up on the stage. Not exactly private, but anyway, it's good for them. We'll do Happy Feet, the food boxes at Thanksgiving and spring break, continue to buy books and clothing for the students. But I know right now, every one of you is thinking about, what can I do for Alexander this year? And so, we've introduced a lot of partners to them, like Greenville Tech Charter School. We introduced them, and they volunteer and do things for them. And there's another Rotarian that's actually a group that's collecting school supplies. And so we said, well, we normally do school supplies, but somebody else is doing it. And she says, well, we could use teacher supplies. And so on your list, on your table is a list of teacher supplies. And so what she's done is, and this kind of shows her understanding of the teachers. And she says that they're going to have like a little coffee bar set up inside the office area, and they'll have Keurigs there. And so they could just use people to donate K-cups or creamers. And one of the things that they do is they give out a lot of chocolate for teachers. It can really change their day, apparently. And they keep snacks for, like, when testing week can be very stressful. You need to have some snacks available for the teachers and that kind of things. You also see on their tissues, she says, teachers can be very emotional. Some days they want to scream, other days they want to cry. And I know if I were a teacher at Alexander, they'd need a wine bar in that office for me. Another thing that you can do is, since when we get back, the school starts earlier. I don't know if y'all noticed, but they changed the school calendar. So now school starts earlier. It's so hot in August, you might as well be in school anyway. You can't do anything else. And it allows them to get out before Memorial Day. So teachers start on August the 1st. And so we're having a cookout for them on the very first day. So you can sign up for the cookout. You can anytime between like 12 and 10 and 1, we'll start cooking. They have a big grill, cook burgers starting at 10. If you want to just come and serve, if you want to we may end up having too many people. We'd just love for you to meet the teachers to meet the Rotarians, and let them feel the support and love that we have for them. So that would be great. If you could sign up on DACDB or contact me or Lisa or Mike, and we'll sign you up, or Lucy's, because she's in charge of it. One of the things too that that's going to be coming up is Happy Feet in the fall. You can be able to look for that. And then you never know when you get new leadership how they're going to they're going to be. But Dr. Hooker is really excited about us, and she's going to give us the opportunity to restart our Read to Me program. And so what we're asking is for Rotarians to volunteer, want to come into a classroom once a month and read to a class. You'll be assigned a teacher. You'll work with that teacher to determine what time works best for them and works well over their lesson plans. You could, if you want to bring a book, you can bring an appropriate book. We talked about that. And or if not, if you can just have the teacher have one there for you to read to the library. But once a month, it's not a very big commitment. Consistency is very important for these children. There are 27 classrooms, so we really need 27 Rotarians. if we ended up with 54 Rotarians, we'd have 2 per classroom, and that would be even better. And I will tell you, for the last 3 years, I have read to a kindergarten classroom, and I write on my calendar to go every Friday. Can't always go every Friday, but the teacher and I talk, and you know, I tend to work a lot of hours and be pretty busy. And by the end of the Thursday night, I'm a little tired, but I'm there at 8 o'clock on Friday morning, and it is just a joy to see those smiling faces of those little kindergartens and how excited they are to learn. And I think hopefully we're making a difference, because I know I think I get more out of it than they do. And I think if we can get you guys in the classroom, you'll have that same experience. So more information will come about that. We just met yesterday. We'll send it all out, but more information will come. But please look to sign up, and I hope to see you all at the cookout. And I look forward to you all getting to know Dr. Hooker. Thank you.
Well, good to see you today. My name is Jim Pereira, and I serve I got a double responsibility today, serve as the chair of the CART Fund, but also getting to introduce the speaker today. Now, as you may know, the CART Fund asks for matches for the CART bucket every month, and David Carferlight, with all his promotional background, introduces them, and he's out this today and asked me to introduce our CART Fund contributor or matcher for the month of June. We're a month behind. Roger Hertzog, our president, matched in June. So if you want to know something about the bills in the mail, okay. Roger was born, according to David, the car guy, whatever that is. But that means he went to General Motors Institute and studied automotive engineering. He subsequently worked with General Motors for 5 years and then transferred over to Ford, where he had a very interesting job as a design engineer for Ford Motor Company for 10 years. After that, apparently Bosch recruited him off, and he came to this area to work with Bosch. With Bosch, he went to Michigan and then to Mexico to serve in the field, and then returned to our area to be the plant manager of Bosch here in the Anderson area and Greenville area. I was fascinated with his appointment here. 1,300 people were under him as a plant manager, but he developed and produced highly sensitive components for cars and other machinery, which sounds pretty technical to me. But in 2019, he retired, but he's still very active in his leader in his church, Asbury Church, and Roper Mountain Estates, where he's president of the neighborhood council. Been 5 years he's been in our Rotary Club and risen to be president in a short period of time, and obviously is off to a good start. He has 2 sons and a daughter who visit him and his wife for 32 years. Now, David left a message. He also added that Roger is professionally fluent in German. I don't know what all that means, but Roger left you a message. Ich spreche Deutsch, aber sehr langsam und sehr schlecht. Okay. I think David was telling me he speaks some kind of German, but I don't know. Now, well, just hit the CART Fund, hit the buckets hard. I'm matching for July, so you can make me sweat. Okay. It's a genuinely honor and pleasure to be able to introduce our program today. Dr. Marjorie Jenkins, who you will hear is Dean of Medicine here at the School of Medicine in Greenville. Dr. Jenkins was born in Kentucky, in Belfry, Kentucky, one of 8 children. She received a bachelor's degree in chemical engineering from Tennessee Technological College, which is a strong engineering school. And after that, she served 5 years as a chemical engineer with Eastman Chemical. Kind of unusual for an MD to have that kind of background. But after that, she got a master's degree in health professions at East Tennessee, and then an MD in East Tennessee State University in Johnson City. She subsequently did her residency in internal medicine at the University of Cincinnati. has a very interesting professional background. She was Associate Dean of Texas Technical School of Medicine and Professor of Medicine there. But one thing I'd love to hear more about, and maybe not in this presentation today, she was a founding director of the Laura Bush Institute for Women's Health. And that is an institute that's spread over 4 or 5 colleges. She has served on the faculty of Johns Hopkins, and she's nationally recognized as a leader in women's health. She's made over 150 scientific and consumer presentations. She's received numerous awards and honors. In 2011, if I can read my writing, she was appointed as a second dean of the School of Medicine here of the University of South Carolina here in Greenville. She's married and has 3 children and 1 grandchild. Now, I'd like to add parenthetically, I worked in medical schools long enough to know how unusual it is to have a medical school. There are only about 150 medical schools or MD granting institutions in the country. There are also some osteopathic schools. But when you stop and think of the fact that many of those medical schools are in big cities like New York or Chicago, where you have 3 or 4 of them, there are very few cities, particularly cities of our size, who have a medical school in them. And I think that is very great privilege of us, because I feel like a medical school draws all kind of talent and service to the community. Faculty coming in, new student coming in, got a new student back there, and the clinical service, those kind of things are very beneficial to a city to have. Well, without further ado, it's a genuine honor to introduce Dr. Jenkins.
All right. Well, it's so great to be back. I think I was last in the room maybe right at the start of the pandemic when I landed here. So I followed Jerry Yuki as the founding dean in 2019. And just to tell you a little bit about, Jim shared with you where I grew up. I grew up in Belfry, Kentucky. We are a coal mining town of about 500. And I was number 8. My mama was widowed at 35 with 8 children and no high school diploma. So she went back to night school. She got her GED and she got an associate's degree. Sadly, she passed while I was in medical school of breast cancer. However, she worked hard and she taught me a lot. My grandfather, her dad, was a Baptist minister and a coal miner. He got black lung and he had to leave the mines, which he started going under into the mines more than a mile in 8th grade because his dad passed. And he was a great pastor of several Baptist churches in Pike County. So we were in church a lot. So my faith is strong and God leads me where I'm supposed to be, even when I don't know it, and sometimes when I don't like it. However, in my career after Texas, Steve and I have been married 32 years. We raised 3 awesome children, and then we have a native Greenvillian who I lovingly call Super Cooper. So you've heard my background, and there are 155 medical schools, and we are so fortunate that Greenville, the University of South Carolina, and Greenville Memorial Medical System at the time decided to start their own medical school. We are indeed blessed to have this medical school here. We have graduated 740 physicians. We graduate about 100 to 110 physicians per year. Mario, welcome to the incoming class of 28. Congratulations. You'll see here that it is quite competitive to get into our medical school. So I want to share with you a little bit about your medical school. Just an update of 2019 to 2024, which is my 5-year tenure. God is leading me somewhere else, so I will be stepping down July 31st. But I shared with Jim I would, and it said, do you want to pick someone else to come speak? And he said, no, you can come on in and we'd love to have you. So I thank you. And Roger, thank you as president for having me today in the group. So in 1965, Greenville actually had a feasibility study done for a medical school in Greenville, a 4-year med school, and it was supposed to be with Furman. And that school actually, I think, became the University of South Carolina, Columbia. So we did not get the medical school in Greenville at that time. In case you're wondering, this is even before I was born. So that's a long time ago. And then USC and Greenville Health System partnered to form a new kind of medical school. So they wanted to create a school that would be one of the most innovative in the country and that would develop doctors that you would want your family taken care of by and that understood the complexity of healthcare. And that's what we do. So Prisma Health takes care of me and my family as well. Our first class graduated 48 students in 2016. This is where we are. We have 2 medical schools at the University of South Carolina. They are 2 independent 4-year medical schools. Our medical school in Columbia is about 55, 60 years old. We, of course, are 12 years old. And then there's the Medical University of South Carolina. I'm sometimes called the Dean of the Medical University of South Carolina. I tell Dean Steyer that is not my doing, but sometimes people think MUSC has a campus up here, but we are indeed an independent 4-year med school that you guys built. So we are prioritizing South Carolina students. And we are training the newest doctors, and we are making a difference in the health of the Greenville community and really across the state. So I'll tell you how we're doing that. But one thing that came to me when Steve and I moved here in 2019 was the fact that Greenville has a thriving economy. And I love that. It actually helped me convince all 3 of my grown children to come and start their careers in Greenville, which they did. I'm so happy. But I started talking to the Chamber, Upstate Alliance, GADC, and they were like, yeah, we know you guys graduate medical, future physicians. And I said, wait a minute, we're more than a school. We don't receive state appropriations. Your med school did not receive any state dollars for the first 12 years. But I did an economic impact report. I garnered one from our Moore School in Columbia, and we have had a $450 million economic impact. 93% of that right here in the upstate. We're expected to have a $750 to $1 billion impact in the next decade for your medical school. So we're more than a school. We're also a multi-million-dollar business impacting and helping the upstate economy. So what are our priorities? Well, our priorities are your priorities, I hope, when I tell you about our school. We have 30% out-of-state students, 70% are in-state. 75% of our primary care have stayed in South Carolina to practice, and in-state tuition is $45,000. Cost of attendance right now is close to $80,000 to live and go to school here. Out of state is $90,000, and our students leave medical school with almost $200,000 in debt. So if I tell you that a family medicine physician makes $225,000, but an orthopedic surgeon can make $1 million, which one do you think a student's going to gravitate to with $200,000 in debt? Yeah, and probably undergraduate debt, given the state of our nation. But here are our applications. So Mario, pay close attention because you are one of thousands. Almost 5,000 applications per year for our 110 slots. You can see here, though, pay close attention. This is our South Carolina applicants. These are all out-of-state applicants. Now, we're a small state, but 500 in-state applicants a year to medical school is awfully small. We interview preferentially South Carolinians, so that red line starts moving up. Look who's accepted. Again, total accepted, South Carolinians by far. Accepted or waitlisted, again, are our South Carolina applicants. Total matriculants, South Carolina is 70%, South Carolinians, and 30%. And of those 30%, we like to seek out students who have strong ties here, maybe family here, maybe their family moved away. Maybe they went to college away, stayed for a few years, but want to come back to South Carolina. So look at the red line versus who gets into our medical school. Here's your new class of 2028. Our applications were 4,753. Secondary applications requested, you can see there. We have interviews offered to only 355. Offers of admission for 211 because we're competing with Columbia, MUSC, and other med schools outside the state. And current students that were holding a seat as of June 1 were 110. And of course, we have 110 starting next week, July 15th. Our class of 2028 stats are here. There's 61 females have outnumbered males in medical schools over the past decade. The GPA for science and math, you can see there almost 3.7, and our MCAT score is 508. But you know what? These numbers don't matter to me very much as a dean, because I don't accept numbers. We don't accept numbers to our med school. We accept people. We accept the best people who are going to be the best physicians, who are going to take the best care of you and your family. So those numbers might get them in the door, but they don't get them into a seat. So I'm going to move through that. This is what I want to show you on South Carolina, because this is something that I hope you can help us with. We have not seen an increase in South Carolina applicants since the opening of our school. So I'm an engineer, so I'm a data nerd. So I'm going to do a few numbers, give you a few numbers. MUSC accepts 180 students a year. Columbia, 100. That's 280. 110. 380. 390. So 390 first-year seats. Of those 500 applicants, only about 70%, 65% qualify past the screening to get an interview. So if we only took South Carolina applicants among our 3 public schools in South Carolina, one of our med schools would be empty. We have got to change that. Because South Carolina has a projected shortage of primary care physicians in 2030 by 815 primary care docs. Who's tried to get a new primary care appointment lately? My son started at Michelin 3 months ago. It took him months to get into a primary care physician. So it's not just specialists that we need primary care. This means this number represents 3.6 million South Carolinians that'll have trouble getting an appointment. That's a lot. So we want to help solve the shortage. That's why you guys grew a medical school, to put out doctors to stay in South Carolina. So I've always gone and been gravitated to rural areas. And growing up in Kentucky, I worked in West Tennessee, Texas Tech University for 20 years. And now South Carolina, we have 67 medically underserved areas in South Carolina, and more coming. Pharmacies are closing in our communities, not having physicians or nurse practitioners. So when I came in 2019, I took about 5 months. I had a lot of discussions. Prisma was merging at the time. The new CEO, Marco Halla, was coming in. He started 2 days before me, and he never lets me forget he's got 2 days seniority over me. Mark and I are good friends, but it was a trying time. And then within 6 months, COVID hit. And then for 2 years, we were in the pandemic. And then right on the heels of the pandemic, I was diagnosed with breast cancer and went through treatment. So my 5 years here have been very adventurous. But I always say, if the Lord takes you to it, he'll take you through it. So in 2019 in December on Christmas holidays, I sat down and I made a list of 8 things I wanted to accomplish in my 5 years here. And this was one of them. It was to bring a 3-year medical school track to Greenville. So this is the primary care accelerated track. Students come in for 3 years. They go to residency training at Prisma and they start family medicine and they owe Prisma 4 years of employment at any site, and they get a full tuition and fee scholarship. So this, the first students for this class start next week. So this is going to go and it's going to grow. Yes, I am so, so happy. I thank God for that. That's a blessing. We are the first school that started EMT training. All of our students start riding on the ambulance in July. They get certified nationally and by the state as EMTs. And because of that, our students were able to give thousands of COVID vaccinations during the pandemic. Lifestyle medicine, we are the global leaders of lifestyle medicine. It's good preventative medicine. 100 countries have downloaded part of our curriculum, of our lifestyle medicine curriculum. So I worked with Dr. Trilk to package that and to give it away because I think knowledge should be shared, not bought. And I heard that the Ohio State Medical School downloaded our entire curriculum. Who knew? All right. If you ever want to come do a tour, and I would invite you to come over as a club and maybe even have a meeting at the school. We've got facilities where we could host this group at the medical school. We have simulation lab, Apple School of Distinction, one of only 4 medical schools in the country with that distinction. And our anatomy lab is state of the art, and we're getting ready to invest another $750,000 in technology over the next 2 years. So we are also committed to research. Now, as a young medical school, busy growing up a school, we received our first 8-year accreditation in 2021, one of the strongest in the country. That is very hard to do when you submit 600 pages to the accrediting body to get accredited. So very proud of our faculty and staff for that. I came in 2019, one of my other 8 strategic initiatives was to have 100% of our students to do research. Not because they might become researchers, but they might. But it helps them develop critical thinking and ask the right questions. And besides, it really ticked me off when a student who interviewed at MUSC told me that MUSC said, if you don't want to do research, go to the girls' school in Greenville. I was like, challenge accepted. Okay. So last week I got the stats for our research experience this summer. 100% of our eligible students are doing research this summer. That was my goal, up from 50%, and they all receive a stipend. So they don't have to go work during that summer. So here are the most pressing problems that we have in South Carolina: heart disease, stroke, cancer, brain health, mental health, and Alzheimer's disease, dementia. So we decided that the last thing on my strategic initiatives list was to start a big data research team, because partnering with Prisma, we have 2/3 of South Carolinians covered in the footprint, and we have clinical data that we can mine for answers. So who saw this story in Greenville Journal, USC on Main, and there's the building. So we'll be on the 2nd floor there, and we'll be opening up in the fall. And that is a big data research team that is going to work partnered with Prisma to look at the data and then help solve the issues of our communities that need it the most. There should not be inequitable health care. A woman with breast cancer, just because of the color of her skin or who her insurance provider is, should not get less care than I got when I started through the journey in 2021. That's inequity. That can be fixed. That can be identified. And so this is a health inequity data innovations biohub, transforming healthcare in South Carolina. This is, I have to give a shout out to Hughes Agency, who is also our partner in helping us build out the innovations hub. Identify the inequity gaps. Harness the data. Discoveries will be delivered to the healthcare system for the healthcare system to transform health. This is not being done in this way and the way we can do it in Greenville, anywhere else in the country, because we're Greenville. If we need it, we build it and we do it. So when research and healthcare come together, communities are served and lives are saved. And that's why we're going to do the Data Innovations BioHub. So that you know why it matters. Sometimes solutions to the world's most intractable health challenges come down to asking the right questions. We can create healthier communities in South Carolina. We can do it. Your medical school is a pillar of that change. You guys are each a pillar of that change. But we will do it because data is the answer. So I will stop there and I'm happy to take any questions. It's a no holds barred Q&A. So you can ask me anything about the med school, about me, about anything you want, what my favorite vegetable is. But I'm happy to answer your question. Yes. Hey, George, friend. Yes, so our endowment goal when the school opened its doors was $50 million, but we only achieved less than a third of that. So I'm a big philanthropy person. Some of you may know I love doing philanthropy because I love marrying people with resources to need. So we have had record philanthropy years, even during COVID here over the last 5 years. But we don't have, I would say, George, we have now maybe endowed funds somewhere around 30 million. So when I came in, not in my list of 8, because it's a big idea, but I said, we can have free medical school in Greenville. And you know what people told me when I came here? Well, we're not Texas. I'm like, what? Because I did raise a whole lot of money for the Laura Bush Institute, but I've raised a whole lot of money here with really talented people. Steve Argo, where are you? There you go. Steve's on our development team. Great talent. We recruited him. He's a new, semi-new member of your club. So you can do it here. I hate it when people just say we can't. Because we can and we should. Because if we can provide free medical school, we will have way more primary care physicians and we'll have way more South Carolinians that think they can go to medical school. So I was told throughout my entire life I would never be a doctor because I was too poor and I didn't know anybody. And I will tell you that we need to tell children, like at Alexander Elementary, you can. I did it, you can do it. Those are the children that will grow up to be the physicians that stay in their community. So we can do it. So 30 million, we need a lot more, but you know, the school hasn't been named yet. Hello, the George Fletcher School of Medicine. There you go. All right, any other questions? Yes. Thank you so much. That is such a gift. So only about half of medical schools now are doing donor body anatomy, but we believe that that you learn medicine through touching the human body. And so people donate their bodies for our students to learn. And we have a beautiful ceremony with the families, and our students write a poem and we thank them for the gift that people have given. It being the dean of a medical school prompted my husband and I to decide that we would do the same when we pass. So I think that, thank your family for that gift. But that is a very special time. We put our anatomy lab on the 3rd floor. It's the most beautiful view in the med school. When I did anatomy, it was in the morgue. 2 a.m. going into study. That place is so scary. Ours is bright and sunny. It doesn't smell like formaldehyde because now of the reverse vacuum. So you guys can come and tour the anatomy lab as well. But it is those people that give their the gift. They're really giving the gift of life, right? By giving themselves to learning. So any other? I think you need to get in front of the physicians. So we have 20 PhD faculty, but we have 1,200 Prisma doctors who are our faculty, and many who do mission trips in the summer. And our students are always looking for global health opportunities. So Steve, would you connect? And let's get a conversation going on that. And the last thing, if I may, Roger, just say, my entire career in medicine, I always said I would never be a dean. My mentor was one of the longest standing deans in the country. Most deans don't seem too happy, so I was happy in my career. And I said I would never be a dean. And in 2019, there were 27 open dean positions among MD medical schools. And I applied to one. So I came here, and the 5 years have been amazing. So I hope today I've been able to impart on to you what an amazing difference this school can make and is making in your community and in the state and really in our nation. So we'll lead from Greenville. Thank you.
If you'll stand and join me for the four-way test, please. Of the things we think, say, or do, is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned?